Are you cool, dude? Are you an awesome dude? Are you fantastically cool, awesome dude? Are you? Well, alrighty. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's Friday. GME kind of went meh today. Closed right around max pain. Elon has been told by the SEC has until Monday to respond to their requests. And if he doesn't respond, he's getting a Wells notice and likely securities fraud charges. Now, we all know the new administration's coming in, and that new administration is making Elon a part of it. So whatever happens would have to happen really quickly for it to stick at all. But it would still affect Tesla stock if it gets filed that way. And then the Patman Act is finally being regulated by the FTC. If you don't know what that is, in 1936, Patman Act basically said wholesalers cannot give two different prices to two different entities. Meaning, if you are a large grocery chain, you can't give one price for oranges versus a small grocery chain. Walmart is the king of defeating the Patman Act. What they do is they will go to a vendor and be like, hey, look, we are 75% of your entire company's sales. So you're going to give us a very special deal on these widgets. And the company goes, but we can't afford to make those widgets for that price. And Walmart goes, well, maybe you should close your factory and send it to China and make it cheaper. And then you can make it for the price we need. And so the company goes, oh, shit, we need 75% of our sales. So they lay off their American workforce. Then they move everything to China. They open a factory there. They start selling 75% of their items to Walmart for a completely insanely discounted price. But they still can't make a profit. So they start to go out of business. And when they go out of business, guess what happens? Walmart buys the brand. Or Home Depot buys the brand. Or Lowe's buys the brand. They do this over and over and over again. And at the same time, you got mom and pop shops, mom and pop hardware stores, toy stores, grocery stores, etc., that cannot get anything remotely close to the price the big box stores are getting these items for. Because, big box stores are buying in bulk, therefore, savings. And so the Patman Act was basically an antitrust law that would keep these big box stores from unfairly competing with mom and pops. Because they can just throw their weight around, and since the 1980s, it really has not been enforced. So the FTC has started going after big retailers and the wholesalers who supply them for violating this act. I had a friend that had a fly fishing store. And then he was telling me they had a duffel bag they would sell in the store, and he was like, the duffel bag is cheaper at Sportsman's Warehouse and Bass Pro Shops than what I can buy it for wholesale from the company. This is 15 years ago, right? So this is unfair business practices and violations of, our antitrust laws. And we just haven't been enforcing them for 40 years. One of the reasons why we have massive food deserts across this country is because mom and pop grocery stores, which are the only ones willing to stay in small communities, rural communities, inner cities, right, cannot get their groceries at a reasonable price to sell to their customers because the wholesalers, the Food Services of America, the United Grocers, and big suppliers for meatpacking plants and poultry and dairy, they will sell their products to these small independent grocers for 30% more than they do to Safeway or Albertsons or Kroger or Walmart or Target, right? And so as a result, these mom and pops shut down because people can't afford their food and they can't afford their food. And then you end up with entire neighborhoods and sometimes entire cities and towns that do not have a grocery store. So, part of food security, part of enabling fair trade practices, part of supporting small businesses lies in enforcing the Patman Act. So Lina Khan, who is going to get replaced in January, which is a huge bummer, she's trying to get as much done and much in the works for the lawyers and in these lawsuits as she can before she's forced out of office. I don't have much hope that the person who's replacing her is going to do anything worthwhile and new, but he may have to keep things that are in the works going. So, we're about to lose the greatest bureaucrat we've had in generations, and here we are. And we're going to get replaced with Donald Trump today admitted that he wants to get rid of the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration and the National Weather Service. So if you live in a place that gets storms, guess what? You're not going to know they're coming. You're not going to be able to prepare yourself. Your local weather forecast will not have access to the Doppler radars and the satellites and everything else, because all that's going to get shut down if Trump has his way. No better way to destroy the American economy than to wipe out tens of thousands of people and hundreds of billions of dollars in destruction from hurricanes, tornadoes, nor'easters, flood events, etc. So I really do not understand the push to eliminate something of such great value to not only American citizens but people globally, because our weather satellites are stationed all over, looking at every part of the globe, and we let other nations know when they've got hurricanes and things coming. So, here we are. It's Friday. It's click and clack. Oops, that didn't happen. Try that again. Okay, turn it off, ding dong. Boop. Okay. Well. I promised you a 2-hour show and I lied. It's going to be a 90-minute show. I had 2 cats in my lap and I was stuck. I don't know what to do. So, 90-minute show it is. N9 was first. N9's happy birthday. Hungry Caveman was last. No, you're not. N9, do you know if Super Stonk mods get paid for sub engagement? Like, the more posts they get, like ad revenue, the posts they allow stay up are just complete garbage. You do not get paid as a Reddit mod by Reddit for anything. I know, because I'm a Reddit mod of my own subreddit, which has gone absolutely bonkers to the point where it's uncontrollable. And in September, we had 3,000 members. We have 32, almost 33,000 members now. So we've gained almost 30,000 members in like 2.5 months. And it's beyond my control. And I do not get a dime for any post engagement whatsoever. Here we are. But there could be outside nefarious actors paying Super Stonk mods to do things. There's been lots of stories about that, about Super Stonk mods selling their accounts for $100,000 to someone from, say, I don't know, Citadel, etc. So, sorry, my collar's acting weird. And so there could be that reason, or maybe Super Stonk just got away from the mods. But I have a feeling that Super Stonk mods have been compromised for a long time. I've been booted from Super Stonk. Stuff from my show and posts from mine from social media get posted there once or twice a week, and I'm not allowed to engage in there because I called Platinum Sparkles a shill. Actually, I proved she was a shill. So they're as compromised as it gets. That's just the way she goes. Alex Bishop, stomach punch for No Labs. No Labs, they're selling a teensy amount, like $300,000 worth of shares. Must have something very specific that they're doing for that. But they're in their plan for compliance, and they're gonna have to meet that by 2026. Probably stupid. Doesn't matter what the outcome of Elon fraud is. He bought his part in November. Yep. Kelly Reed. Loving the funny marketing from the Luigi CEO assassination. Nintendo is bringing out all Luigi merchandise out of the front shelves. Burger King is saying they won't snitch. Yeah, it's politicians and the talking heads in the news media are really missing the boat on this one. The talking heads have been giving instructions from their corporate overlords. They're like, you will chastise Luigi and you will chastise the people for supporting him. Democrats And Republicans alike, elected officials are like, well, you know, we shouldn't resort to violence. This nation was built on violence. Violence affects change faster than anything else you could possibly imagine, right? If you've got a violent movement supported by a majority of the people, which is what Luigi did, you will affect change faster than anything. Anything. The only time nonviolence works is when you're up against folks who have a conscience, right? And you have the majority of the people that can back you on it. But if you're up against people who do not have a conscience, then you're going to have to appeal to their sense of self-preservation. And that sense of self-preservation is much stronger than anything else. So you will make them, you know, redefine their standard operating procedure. And in that redefinition will include the things that you want. The reason why unions were able to form was because being able to negotiate between the workers and the factory owner worked better than the workers murdering the factory owner in front of his family, which is what was starting to happen. Is that when you exploit and you abuse and you torture and you kill the people, they generally destroy those at the top until a change happens. And so that's where we are. We are at a point where people are idolizing him. People are talking about turning him into a saint, right? Dude, kitten, just 1 second. The kitten is there's a packing paper package came from Michael Mystery, and she is just you. Lay off of that. We'll just lock you in here, and then you can't do that anymore. Here, you hang out with monkey butt, or not. Okay. Where am I? Where was I? Oh yeah, screw the man. And 9 says the Burger King tweet was fake. People believe anything. I mean, great marketing though. 4ZZ9. Well, this week was shit. Yep. Turkish. Where's the money? BBY shares. Wadowski beats me, man. Brandon Wells. Sup. Brandon Wells. Sup. No labs. Colin. Positive earnings and first down week for GME. Yep. That's just how it works. And oh my God. You gonna come in or you gonna go out? You guys are going out? You guys are going out. You're out for good. Okay. Okay, 654. Will the USA survive? We are reactionary, not preventative. Could we see a mass rise up against Project 2025? I think if Trump does what Project 2025 wants him to do, when he's put the people in place from the Project 2025 or trying to into the seats in government where they can affect all the change that Project 2025 wants, then the United States is effectively over as a nation. We will obliterate our economy. We will vaporize the US dollar as an international currency. We will destroy our manufacturing base. We will have hyperinflation. Everything will become essentially worthless while the price goes through the roof. And we'll be creating a system in place that will essentially be able to strip Americans of their citizenry and deport them whenever the country feels like it. So you won't have the protections of the Constitution anymore because your citizenship will be ripped away from you. Thus, your protections from the Constitution will be ripped away from you. And yeah, I think if Trump does what 2025 wants him to do, that's it. There could be a violent uprising. Very well could be. I mean, if they cut so much from the government, which Elon wants to cut $2 trillion from the government, he wants to eliminate, entire agencies, entire bureaucracies. We'll have so much environmental damage, right? That the air will be unbreathable, the water will be undrinkable, our cities will be disgusting, our countryside will be disgusting. We'll have so much more merger and acquisition in the corporate and agricultural sphere that food insecurity will become a giant thing. Plus, we'll be getting rid of all the people that pick and grow our food. So people will be starving. Food prices will go through the roof. Someone's out there honking, monkey. And we won't have the National Weather Service. We'll have NOAA. So we have no idea if storms are coming. So farmers won't even be able to protect their crops, or, dam operators won't know when to open the floodgates. We're going to see destruction by the environment in insane levels. Plus, they'll cut FEMA. So if we do have natural disasters, those places will just stay disasters forever. Will the Americans do something about it? I mean, if we rally around someone like Luigi Magon, maybe. It's very possible that there could be some sort of citizen uprising and being like, whoa, knock this shit off. I mean, Vivek Ramaswamy today said he's going to eliminate government pensions. Just vaporize the government pension program. I don't know how many of you are folks who, worked in the military, worked for a government agency, etc. Like, if they vaporize the pensions on a personal level, my mother was a nurse for the VA. She's on a government pension. They vaporize it. Okay, now she's stuck on Social Security, earning well below living wage. But they also want to vaporize Social Security. Well, guess what? My dad was a government worker. He was Navy, and then he was a Navy contractor, and he's a Navy civilian worker for fucking 60 years. They're going to vaporize his pension now, so that he's just on Social Security, and then they want to vaporize Social Security too. They're going to kill 70 million people. That's what's going to happen. Is they're just going to kill 70 million Americans who are retirees. Well, are we going to go to, was it Logan's Run, where if you turn 30, you're too old and they just kill you and everyone eats you or something? Is dystopian garbage. We should be able to have something to look forward to and life after work, right? My 88-year-old father, who's been retired for a decade now, whose architecture licenses have all expired, who, what's he supposed to do? My mother's been retired for 6 years. She's in her mid to late 70s. Her nursing licenses have all expired, right? She has not done any of the continuing education she's required to do as a nurse. So what's she supposed to do, right? Go back to nursing school all over again? Graduate with another degree or get another license at 80-something years old? And then have to go flip grown men's bodies to VA? Oh, don't worry. They're going to cut the VA as well. So she won't have a job to go back to anyway, right? This is the shit they want to do. They're going to absolutely overturn the norms of our society and not make it better. They're going to make it much, much, much worse. So whatever qualms you have about the Kafkaesque existence of government bureaucracy, now imagine there are zero benefits. You have no one at the National Transportation Safety Bureau, right? Nobody to make sure that the cars are safe. Nobody to force recalls when shit's blown up or gas pedals get stuck or bad parts are put in cars. No one at the FAA to ensure that those shitty Boeing planes are actually getting made in somewhat competent matter, right? You have no one at the EPA ensuring that giant chemical factories and oil refineries are doing what they should and not absolutely polluting the environment and dumping waste into our water supply. Same thing with OSHA and the Mining Safety Hazard Agency. There'll be no oversight of these unrepentant sociopaths that run these major corporations. And if there's no one to poke them to make sure they're doing the right thing at all, then they will do the wrong thing because it saves them money, because they don't have a conscience. And as somebody pointed out several weeks ago in the chat, I can't remember who it was, and I want to just give you a high five. Billionaires have two jobs. Don't lose money, don't go to prison. If you remove the don't go to prison, right, then their only goal is don't lose money. That's it. That's all you'll have. So you'll have fraud, Ponzi schemes, waste, child slave labor, you name it happening. And we're all supposed to be like, well, I guess that's the way it's going to be, because they got the presidency, the House, and the Senate, and the Supreme Court. It is going to get really, 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 really bad this time around. There are zero checks and balances on Trump. None. I mean, for fuck's sake. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who has been proposed to be the leader of Health and Human Services, said today that he wants to decertify the polio vaccine. One of the greatest achievements in science, period, is the polio vaccine. Any of you boomers in here remember what life was like going to school and seeing your friends go down with polio? My mother, she was a swimmer, and you know, she was born in 1950. They had to close the public pool in her town, and her swim team had to swim in the river because the public pool got in polio and a whole bunch of kids went down. You know, we had stopped production of iron lungs because polio was no longer a thing. Well, we're gonna put kids in iron lungs for the rest of their lives again, right? Is that what we're gonna do? Because some brainworm fucking junkie is like, well, I don't think the polio vaccine should exist. What is wrong with people? I mean, I know it's brainworms, but why? Why are we like this as Americans? Why are we so just goddamn against our own interests at all times? Why do we do that? What is wrong with us? Why do we put up with this shitty healthcare system that vaporizes all of our money before we die and sticks our poor widowed spouses or with hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in medical bills, right? Why do we allow this to happen? Why do we allow Blackstone to buy up all of our private housing? Why do we allow any of this crap to happen? Why aren't we out there just taking care of the assholes who do this shit to us? There should be 100,000 Luigi Magionis. That's the way it should be, man. Hey, Relinquished, eat a fucking dick. Fuck you, you piece of shit. It's in ways TDS makes the show unwatchable now. Well, here you are watching it, you fucking loser. Jesus fucking Christ. I just pointed out exactly how your life is going to get goddamn worse if anything from Project 2025 starts being enacted by Trump. You have zero argument whatsoever against any of that. Your TDS. Jesus Christ. Do you know what kind of fucking moron you are there, Relinquished? You're a goddamn fucking idiot. Jesus. What name a good thing. Name a good thing about getting rid of the National Weather Service. Huh? What waste do we have in the National Weather Service letting people know that there's a goddamn hurricane coming? That there might be a tornado wiping out, you know, an elementary school in the middle of the day in Oklahoma? That there's a flood event coming, and so the people who operate the fucking Hoover Dam know that they need to let the overflow go. What is going through your brains? Jesus Christ. It is absolutely mind-boggling how fucking retarded, and I'm using that word retarded in the purpose that you're goddamn retarded. What is wrong with you? For crying out loud. Let's bring on just acid rain and heavy metals in our public drinking water. And let's make sure our air is unbreathable so that we have people who become asthmatic young and die at a young age of heart attacks at 14 years old. Let's just forego anything that makes life worth living, right? Let's just starve to death because we're not going to have anybody to pick our food. And what food is left is going to get ravaged by giant storms because we don't do anything about anything. This is just, we're Relinquished. You are the fucking moron I'm talking about. You are just absolute baby-brained stupid. You have no idea what cause and effect is. You're going to suffer consequences. The stove is piping, is burning red hot. Your face is warm from it, and you're just going to touch it and go, fuck, that's Houston's fault. That is exactly the mentality that you have. Provide an argument for getting rid of the National Weather Service or NOAA or the EPA. That's actually an argument that's good for the people and not for some chemical plant owned by the Kochs, right? It's just, fuck's sake, man. Be a better human being. Can we do that? Can we just have people try to be good? Try to do the right thing? Rather than be like, I triggered that liberal. I think I got the COVID again, or bird flu, or whatever fucking thing's gonna happen that we aren't gonna be prepared for because we're firing everybody who helps us be prepared for it. Cause and effect. In 2018, Trump got rid of the pandemic response team. The people who sat in the National Security Council, and when news of potential pandemics came along, they had a game plan as to how we would combat it and how we would save lives and not crash the economy, right? Then, a year and a half later, in October 2019, they got rid of the USAID fast response teams. These were teams stationed all over the world, in almost every nation, right? And these folks on either local news or info from the CIA or NSA about potential outbreaks of novel zoonotic viruses would go to where those outbreaks happen and they would shut it down. They would kill off the poultry or the livestock that was the source of that virus. They would pay off the farmer and get them new stock once everything was sanitized, and they would keep these virus outbreaks from happening. It was saving lives. It was saving our lives. It was keeping, spread. It was reducing the amount of mutation in these viruses, and it was saving lives. In October 2019, Trump fired them all. Every last one of them to save, $30 million? November 17th, 17 days later, guess what appeared? COVID. Oh my gosh, right? We had teams in China working with the Chinese government to shut down any viral spread of novel zoonotic viruses. So Trump firing those two programs saved like $50 million and then caused $21 trillion in economic damage. Talk about the worst return of investment in the history of humanity. That's just a teeny tiny little baby example of what's going to happen if Project 2025 gets enacted by this administration. It is going to be fucking apocalyptic. We are the global center for information, for technology, right? If we go down, there is not other people or other resources around the world that can make up for our ability in space and industry and electronics and innovation that just don't exist. And we're going to fucking nuke that, right? It's just, yes, says 54. The United States will probably cease to exist if Project 25 is enacted. So there you go. And relinquished. That's what I say about that. All right. A couple super chats came in. Corporal Walnut. Rain is poisonous. Why do I need to know it's raining? I could tell rain's coming because I can hear it sizzling as it melts the sidewalk. Cameron Mirza. Dog treat, please. And what a load of BS on the Max Payne. Yeah. Well, Monkey heard me rant. She deserves a treat, right? How about some pig ear? Because we got another bag of pig ears from Michael Mystery, so we should load you up with pig ears right now. Yeah? Yeah, you want that? You can take it? It's right there. It's right. Oh. Take it. There you go. All right. Prepare for the crunches. TDS bullshit. I have a rule in the subreddit. If you post TDS or Trump Deranged Syndrome, automatic ban. You just get nuked because it is simple, tiny, little baby brain bullshit. You got Trump Deranged Syndrome. No, I'm actually educated and I fucking read, you moron. Jesus Christ. Okay. Also, Juice Mammy gifted us memberships. Tom Zaki got one. Leo B got one. David Wright got one. Jacob Shukla got one. And Murph and Turf Studios. So we just no lurkers in there. It's all regulars that got memberships this time around. Okay. I wasted 30 minutes of my life on that rant. Corporate Walnut Cohen is going to miss Christmas season with this company transformation. Seems like an unnecessary L. That's 2 Christmas seasons he's going to miss. 2. He missed last year's, and he missed this year's. So that's 2 Christmas seasons. That's hundreds of millions of dollars, possibly billions of dollars. Poof. Gone. Andrew Stewart, Houston. God, wish Elon would go away. Probably Trump wishes he'd go away at this point. David Hashemi. What's up, Houston? I 15x my AVGO calls today. Effing GameStop, but will buy those January calls with you. Yeah, I'm not going to buy the January calls yet. Probably not until after Christmas. So just going to hold back and wait on that one. Matt says, I understand we need better health care, but for people cheering on the shooting of the CEO is crazy. That is someone's husband, dad, son. How would you feel if it was your dad's son? If my dad was a giant piece of shit who was responsible for tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of deaths by denying people coverage for a product they purchased for my dad, I'd say fuck him. That's what I'd say. He would deserve it. Plus, he's estranged from his wife, and he had almost no contact with his kids. So it seemed like he was kind of just a junk father and husband to begin with. But yeah, it'd be like saying, someone killed the guard at Auschwitz, but he was a dad and a father and a son. So don't you feel bad about that? No, I don't. If we're going to create a system that kills, denial of medical coverage kills 68,000 Americans a year. 68,000. That's more than murder. That's more than drunk driving. You take drunk driving and murder, you combine them together and you double it, you are at the number of deaths from denial of coverage. Think about that. We are one of the most murderous nations in the entire world, right? We murder more than anyone. And yet, it is a third of the rate of people we kill from denial of coverage. So the biggest murderers in the United States are health insurance companies, which is pretty crazy. That they kill more people than drunk drivers, more people than murder. That's nuts. So no, I have zero problems with the heads of healthcare companies, board members, CEOs, you name it, getting murked. I don't care. I do not care. Until we see some sort of change, it will probably keep happening. And everyone's going to go behind them and they're going to cheer. Because that's what happens when you go to war with the public. When you kill and injure and bankrupt people by not providing the service you promised them. If it were any other industry, if a car company killed 68,000 people a year, the CEO would be facing prison time, right? But in this case, no, they're not. No, bring on the class war. Bring it on. We have 6% of this nation owns 50% of the private firearms on Earth. Bring it on. You hire yourself some ex-Navy SEALs to protect you. Guess what? The ex-Navy SEALs also are on health insurance that sucks. So you're going to have to really, 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 really figure out how to make their lives worthwhile, because there's not a single person in this nation who has not had a negative experience with health insurance or knows someone who's had an absolutely detrimental experience with health insurance. That's it. It fix the system and it won't be a problem anymore. The only time you get violent uprisings like this is when the system, which is supposed to work for the people, isn't working for the people. So this is a natural outcome of crappy policies enacted by our politicians and corporate leaders. And if they don't want these kind of outcomes, then they should change their entire business model. Simple as that. I have zero issues with what Luigi Magon is accused of doing. None. I get it. I totally understand. I've had fantasies about that my entire life. ever since my own shitty experience with health insurance when I was 18 years old. So, it's other nations support their citizens. Why don't we? Why is our society the one where everyone has to be some sort of individual, pull themselves up by the bootstrap? Well, you got cancer, it's probably your fault. Okay, let's see what happens when we get rid of the EPA and we put carcinogens in the water and the air and everything else, and then everyone gets cancer. Yay! Woo! Good job, folks. Don't worry, we won't die from cancer. We'll die from starvation before that ever happens in the first place. So, Stephanie L., I think CEOs of oil and gas companies should also be looking over their shoulders. Yeah, I think CEOs of giant companies in general should start to be worried, because what we're seeing spray painted in the posters going up aren't just like, hey, healthcare CEOs watch out. It is all CEOs watch out. And basically, the CEOs for Costco and Arizona Iced Tea are the only two that are probably going to survive this culling process if it goes further. So, think just when people say eat the rich, there comes a time when it's no longer like a joke or irony. There comes a time when the desperation hits and they actually eat the rich. So you do not want it to get to that point if you are a big giant corporate leader, because when people are desperate, they're coming for you. And it won't matter that you got a couple of former Navy SEALs as protection around you, because in the end, you'll be like those troops in Syria who took off their uniforms, left their AKs at the border, and walked into Iraq because, like, Assad's not around for me protection anymore. I'm out of here, right? There's going to become a level of self-preservation with all those folks. And you're paying them a salary, you're giving them their health care benefits that probably suck, and you have to purchase their loyalty. They aren't actually loyal to you because they think you're a great guy. They're like, wow, I would follow this man to battle. They're like, I'm paid to be here. And in the end, it doesn't go that far when the shit hits the fan. Alex Bishop, I have fantasies like that too. If I were billionaire rich, at this point, I would probably become a Batman. I would. If I could afford it, no asshole will be safe. Probably why they won't let me be rich. Pacheco Rune putting up some monkey faces. Spy 620. Oh, Houston, what's your options plan now? Just bought 3 January 1728s. Thanks for the dip hedgies. I'm probably first week of January buying for January 17th. Then that week of January 17th, as things go, I'll probably be switching into the 24th. Because if things close high on January 17th, pushing a whole bunch of shares in the money, then those January 24th ones are going to go absolutely bonkers as a result of gamma ramping, just like in 2021. So if that 4-year swap cycle is true, then that'll be awesome. But yeah. Mr. Stewart, Houston, what is the best ballpark? I like both Busch and Coors. Wrigley looks cool. I have never seen a baseball game at a major league ballpark outside of Safeco Field or the Kingdom. So I honestly cannot tell you what other ball fields are like. I'm not one of those cool guys who's been able to go to games in other cities. One of these days, I will get to go to games in other cities. But so far, Safeco Field it's a very nice ballpark. The crazy thing is so the Kingdom opened in 1976. My first Mariners game was in 1986, so 10 years later. And as a 5-year-old going to that stadium, I was like, man, this place is a dump. It's a concrete dungeon. It sucks, right? And it felt 50 years old. It's concrete brutalism architecture. It felt like a prison. It smelled bad. It was only 10 years old. I go to Safeco Field. Safeco Field was built in 1998. It is now 26 years old. I go to Safeco Field. Actually, opened in 99. It's 25 years old. I go to Safeco Field. It feels brand new. feels absolutely brand spanking new. It feels luxurious. It feels like an awesome experience. You go there and you're like, wow, this is a temple to baseball. So, if new stadiums are still like that, they're probably absolutely fantastic, or at least renovated ones. The Kingdome would never give you that feel. The one thing the Kingdome had going for it was short right and left field, so you could just mash home runs like crazy. Safeco is a bit deeper. It's not as deep as it used to be. I really don't understand why people aren't able to homer as much at Safeco Field as there are other stadiums, because there's half of baseball stadiums have deeper outfields than Safeco Field does at this point. But Safeco Field is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ballpark. It's great. It's right next to trains. You have the trains going toot toot during games, and you got beautiful views of the skyline. If you're up in the upper decks, you can look out, and you can look out over the Olympic Mountains and sunset, and it's just beautiful. So, and Jika Shukla super chats. Thoughts on Star Trek Voyager? In my opinion, the best Star Trek. It's my favorite Star Trek. Well, maybe that and Lower Decks. Maybe Lower Decks and Voyager are my two favorite Star Treks. I thought Voyager was really, really, really good. Yeah, so my favorite. I am partial the way through Deep Space Nine, and so far it is not hitting the way people want it to be like, oh, Deep Space Nine is the best. Maybe it gets better. I don't know. Feels just kind of dark and burdensome at the moment. But my favorite's Voyager. Yep. David Hashimi, you guys need to hedge your GME options gambles with Mag 7 or other trading stocks. Whoops. Oh, shoot. Reset on the chat there. Where are we going? I lost my spot entirely. First Day Productions. Houston, if you remember, I've just been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. My work uses United Health. They denied my Dexcom, but they changed their minds recently, and now I can monitor my glucose. Isn't that amazing? Isn't it amazing how much the vaporization of a CEO can lead to the reconsideration of everyone's healthcare needs across this country? Because, what's cheaper, giving you Dexcom so you can monitor your glucose levels, or paying for your hospitalization and amputations of limbs because you weren't able to monitor your glucose levels? Just like what's cheaper in the long run? Having you be a productive member of society, or having one leg and being on disability for the rest of your life? Black Udon, happy birthday, Houston. What do you call a wizard who kisses just below the chin? A necromancer. Imagine getting nuzzled by Gandalf the Grey down there and just beard everywhere. Okay, buddy says hello. How was it that Jake 2B was nuked on Twitter? I don't know. Someone showed that he got nuked because he violated his NDA. That was like a grok response or something. But Twitter has not said anything. Jake has no news to offer. He doesn't really understand why he got nuked. But yeah, Elon, freedom of speech, right? Kim Kadian, Houston, can you talk about how Trump and Elon are planning to crash the economy, stock market? People don't understand these tariffs and cuts are by design to achieve this goal. I mean, I kind of covered that in my little unhinged rant there, but yeah, that's the goal. Read about Curtis Yarvin, who is the guru for Thiel, Saylor, JD Vance, Elon. He wants a monarchy, and he went to the technocrats, the tech bros, and he said, "You guys are the greatest people in society." And tech bros were like, "You know what? I really am one of the greatest people in society." And he's like, "One of you should be king." And they're like, "Yeah, one of us should be king." And so their goal, they're buying up all the Bitcoin and all the crypto, right? Remember, 97% plus percent of all Bitcoin is owned by less than 1% of wallets. Their goal, this is Curtis Yarvin, this is Michael Saylor, this is Peter Thiel, JD Vance, these bros, they're David Sachs. Their goal is to crash the US dollar, cause hyperinflation on the dollar so that everyone is poor. You make $60,000 a year, well, you need $200,000 a year to live, right? getting rid of all Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, any type of welfare, unemployment insurance, child labor laws, work safety laws. Get rid of all of them, right? And if they make you so desperate that you're willing to go work for the company store again, that you will live in your little company town, you will work 20 hours a day, 6 days a week for the man, earning pittance, living in dormitories, right? Being little minions for the man, and that's their entire goal. And then all the rich people get to play with the Bitcoin, and all of you can just suck it. That is Curtis Yarvin's entire plan in a nutshell, right there. And we put his people in charge. So, yeah, their goal is to vaporize the U.S. economy, because in their minds they will become nobility. They will be able to create a monarchy, lead for generations. Democracy is flawed, right? Because it gives normal people the ability to decide how they want society to go, when really it should just be the richest among us, because obviously we won the lotto in life and we've been ordained by God to tell you how to live your lives. So, that's why you need folks like Luigi. Luigi is a class trader. He should be in that group being like, yes, I am a god. And instead, he vaporized the CEO. That alone should make Curtis Yarvin and his followers go, ooh, maybe there are consequences to this, right? You might last a while. Assad lasted 20 years in charge of Syria, but he's not in charge of Syria anymore. And everyone who backed him is dead or had to flee the country, right? Same thing's going to happen in Venezuela. Maduro is going to be chased out or die someday. And that's probably what will happen in Russia, is Putin will get chased out or killed. It happened, to Ben Ali in Tunisia. He's having to live his retirement in Saudi Arabia, right? Gaddafi took an AK-47 up his pooper. So you can try and I'm going to clamp down and I'm going to rule. And sometimes you make a natural life cycle. Franco managed to make a natural life cycle doing that. But usually it involves you committing suicide in a bunker, or being dragged through the streets, or fleeing to a friendly nation to live out your days in a townhome. That's kind of how it goes. Yeah. Sometimes you die in jail like Milosevic. So just their plan is to do harm to everyone, because you as people aren't people, you're cattle. And that's how they want it to happen. Hazel A, Houston. Do you know what Jake said to get his media shut down? Nope. You mentioned it may have been because mentioning something in violate NDA. Was it about BBBY? Thank you. Apparently it was about Chewy. They're talking about Chewy earnings. That's what I read on Twitter anyway. Like Grok said or whatever. Is that it had to do something with Chewy earnings and their stock buybacks, and that perhaps violated some sort of NDA agreement, but we don't have the NDA, so we can't verify any of that. And Twitter also took down the recorded version of that space call. So did Salvatore know post it to Spotify? I have no idea if he got that one in time to post to Spotify before it got nuked. Blah blah blah. Ontario prepared to cut energy to the U.S. due to tariff threats. If the human race survives, this portion of the timeline feels like it should be formatted like a graphic novel in future textbooks. Yes. Ontario's got a lot of energy. The one that will really hurt will be British Columbia. The problem is that British Columbia, most of their energy gets sold to California, and California does not support the Trump administration. So I'm not sure what British Columbia will do. It is a big part of their economy is selling energy to the United States. It is the most hydroelectric dam rich nation, hydropower rich territory in the entire planet is British Columbia. Washington is right up there, but a much smaller land area though. Yeah. Yeah, monkey. Yeah, monks. Right? Yep. Yeah. She side eye. Is it factory? Donald Trump's team is exploring ways to significantly reduce, merge, or even eliminate the top bank regulators per Wall Street Journal. Oh yeah, getting rid of bank regulators. That's also a great way to crash the economy because you let the banks go hog wild. 1929, baby. Why have rules on those people holding your money when you can just look the other way until they get themselves in trouble, because they will get themselves in trouble because they're all about making a quick buck and not about lasting growth. So when this economy crashes, it's going to crash so very hard, so unbelievably very hard, and there'll be no systems in place to bring it back up. Nothing. It will last for decades. Decades. With zero turnaround. It's going to be bad. The comfort you have now, sitting in your warm home, watching me on your big screen TV or on your computer or on your digital device, right? Like this comfort you feel now, your belly's full, you're warm, you have clothes on your back, right? You have the free time where you can sit and actually watch the show. That will vanish. You won't have internet. You're going to be cold as shit because, cheap energy from Canada is not going to come into the country, right? You're going to be hungry because we booted 22 million people who pick and grow our food. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. Very bad. I'll take over. I expect better than this rhetoric. Which rhetoric? My rhetoric or the rhetoric of Trump? Says 54, pardons don't stop revolts or fast traveling lead. That is also true. GameStop should put Luigi's Mansion on sale. 54 says raid the prison, free Luigi. Oh, I'm gonna have a Bastille movement at some point. Monty Shatum, raid the prison. He loves it. Lexington Productions, Houston. What are your thoughts on this crazy drone UAP activity in New Jersey and other places around the world? Apparently, they are coming from the ocean. Every image of the UAPs that I see in New Jersey is just a regular passenger plane. So here's what's happening: is that people are on the flight path of an airport, and as the jet comes in, you see the headlamps because they have headlights just like a car that point ahead, right? And you see this bright dot, and it gets closer and closer and closer and closer, and as it passes over your head, you see the port and starboard lights, the underbody lights, and the tail lights. And they're like, it turns into a plane. It's because it was a plane the entire time, moron. Turn on your flight tracker app on your phone, and you can watch the stupid plane fly overhead. That's it. There might be UAPs out there, but these dipshits with their cell phones out there are not filming UAPs. They're filming planes on a flight path going to an airport and landing. That's all they've managed to do. They're so dumb. They're so dumb. No, there aren't a bunch of weird UFOs flying around New Jersey. There just aren't. And every video is not of a UFO. Every video is of a stupid plane flying over their heads on the way to go land at Newark or some other airport that they're flying into. Since before, Elon is not elected official, nor is Doge a real agency. Don't give it credibility, remove Elon, and a lot of this could go away. Oh, yes, this is true. BFH, 70 million old people who voted exactly for that. Yep, it's true. 70 million old people that do not understand that their retirement, their Social Security, and their Medicare is going to get vaporized by these folks because they're scared of a bunch of Mexicans. And that's where we are. BFH, they voted to pull Logan's Run on themselves. The leopards are going to eat very well in the next 4 years. Oh, the leopards are going to be so fat. They're going to be so fat. BFH, on the plus side, I see a new formed Democratic nominee who doesn't care about the norms or precedent and only cares about what is legal. We can only hope that somehow the standard bearers of the DNC get vaporized in all this and something new can come up from the Democratic National Committee, because these folks are there to lose us elections. Why have Howard Dean when we can have John Kerry? Huh, man, what a ball of charisma that guy was, right? Why on earth would we ever bother with a Bill Bradley when we can have Al Gore boring the shit out of us, and he's going to select Joe Lieberman as his running mate, right? Why would we ever want to have someone like Bernie Sanders, who has giant approval ratings and everyone loves, when we can just sort of put our thumb on the scale and lose an election with another Clinton? We are going to have to see some real come to Jesus in American politics, and I think that the Trump folks will make it so bad that we're going to want it. The problem is that there may never be an election again if they get what they want. So we may end up with a feudal state, and that will require a violent revolution. Out of that violent revolution, perhaps we'll get, some positive change, but it's going to suck until then. Yep, it really will. George T, you said XRP is a stable coin. Stable coins do not move 5 times in a month. You may want to stick to poison stocks, do better research, utility crypto with these cases. I didn't say it's a stable coin. I said the idea is that it remains somewhat stable and does not have too much volatility. If you invested $1,000 in XRP in 2017, you have $900 in XRP today. So it is fairly stable. It's not moving from $1 to $20,000. It's moving from $1 to $2. That is not the volatility of a moonshot. If you put $1,000 in Bitcoin in 2017, you'd have what? $5,000-$10,000. So the volatility is there for other coins beyond XRP. XRP is meant to be actually used as a currency, whereas all these other cryptos are meant for speculation. So XRP wants to be used as an actual currency for bank-to-bank protocols, and you do not want to have high volatility in those bank-to-bank protocols. I've tried to explain it 1,000,000 times at this point. But if you are a bank and you're sending $1 million to that bank over there, that bank over there, by the time they receive it, don't want it to be $400,000. And the bank that's sending the $1 million doesn't want to send $1 million and have $20 million show up in the other bank's account, right? That currency volatility like that defeats the entire purpose of the XRP platform. So what you're seeing is some speculative effects of the lawsuits being over and whatnot, and it no longer being regarded as a security. But you're just not going to see it fly to $10,000 or $100,000 a coin. It's just not going to happen. BOH, mark my words, there will be a Democratic president that makes full use of the presidential immunity ruling in 20 years with all that implies. I hope we're around 20 years. Aaron Sounding, Houston, look up ticker symbol SOUN, SOUN, about 4 shares at $16. Said F it. Nvidia invested healthy in Sound months ago. Also, Lind Capital is heavily shorted on Sound. Looks like it's squeezing. Okay, let's gotta go there. Gotta put that guy up. Gotta sling that over there. Sound. SoundHound AI. Okay. Chrome. Come on, Chrome. Do your thing. Get in there. All right, SoundHound AI, it's at 1691. It was at 14 earlier today. What were you doing a month ago? A month ago, you were at $6. So it's definitely flying high right now. It's up 169% in that time. Last 6 months. So it was a $5 stock for a very long time. We touched close to 10 March. But it's been $5 stock mostly, $3, $4, $5 until when to start going up. Beginning of November. So right at the election, boom, flying high. And here we are at 1691. They have an options chain? They do have an options chain. Implied volatility is nuts right now. So it is flying. Their options chain only goes up to $27. This is they're only on monthlies. Okay. So the folks that bought this stuff a month ago, they are sitting on like $1,000 right now. It's a good job. You bought it here, you're sitting on $1,200. Not too shabby. And you probably bought it for $1, maybe less back then, because it was very stable at $5 for a very long time. SoundHound. Interesting. All right. Keep an eye on that. Relinquished. Oh yeah, Relinquished posted that bullshit, and then I yelled a lot. Aaron Saltine, I think it might jump 50 to 70 if it keeps going. Hopefully. BFH, he's a contrarian. He literally baits people to get angry. Well, it worked. George T, I am an XRP and XLM because I took advice from Lou Bravo and done research. Now look at it. Ain't over because Trump is crypto president. He is very much a crypto president. This is true. But if he crashes the economy, crypto crashes first. That's what happens. Because crypto cannot be used as collateral for margin. Margin is through the roof. So these hedge funds are playing with crypto, trying to bolster up wealth. And if they ever get in trouble in the stock market, which is definitely going to happen because we are way overvalued the stock market, they're going to sell off all their crypto for cash because the cash helps bolster their margin. So crypto will be the first thing to go when the economy crashes. It is not going to be a hedge against a crash in the market. Every time we've had a dip in the market, crypto has gone first. So, I mean, you can look at Bitcoin in 2020. Bitcoin price 2020. So here we go. Yeah, Bitcoin dropped March 14th. Bitcoin dropped from 9,000 to 5,000. So it dropped in half the day before the rest of the economy dropped like 37%. Bitcoin's first. We had that crash in 2022, right? Bitcoin crashed November 13th, 2021, and then it dropped from 61 down to 18 in that time. So it crashed first. It is not a hedge against the market. It is a precursor. It's a canary in the coal mine against the market, because you can't use it as collateral for other plays. It can be tangential or side by side, but if you're on a whole bunch of margin over here for stock market plays and you hold up a whole bunch of crypto, you're selling the crypto for cash so that you can bolster your margin and keep yourself from being vaporized. BFH, he has no object permanence. It doesn't exist if you can't see it happening to him. Literally infant mentality. People like him are the reason I'm unironically in favor of education camps. I want to talk about relinquish there. I get it. I get the feel. Probably stupid. What's going through their brains? Worms. I thought this had been answered. John Fetterman got brain damage. Decided he was Republican. John Fetterman. I think his stroke did more damage to his head than he or anyone else has realized. Gosh dang it! Go back to your stupid. Sorry, things are in the wrong screen here. Yeah, Fetterman is trying to like become the new Kristen Cinema in this case. He's like, yeah, I guess I'll vote for Pete Hegseth. The guy is a drunk and a rapist. Maybe I'll vote for RFK. I don't know. So people in Pennsylvania, primary Fetterman. Someone should primary Fetterman at this point. 654, yay, Houston Wade rant. I love these. Vindicator, Trump was able to convince enough people Haitian immigrants were eating pets. Exactly. They're like, well, they're eating pets, so I guess I vote for him and lose my Social Security. That's kind of where we are. Black Udon. A sommelier complained about headache from testing every time he opened a bottle. The boss told him to quit whining. I wonder if anyone's done any studies on sommeliers in COVID. Because I know my sense of smell, I can still smell things, but I cannot smell things as well as I did pre-COVID. Um, so I do wonder what folks have experienced so far in that. Next revolution, so Citizen Force, the next revolution, don't let the Nazis live. They just fester and reemerge. Yeah. You gotta nip it in the bud, man. There's an old adage, as a Reddit post from years and years and years ago about this guy being in a bar, and this like punk dude comes in, and the bartender's like, "Get out! Oh, I haven't done anything." He's like, "Get the fuck out of here! Leave! This is bullshit! I haven't done anything." And the bartender's like, reaching under the bar for what looks like he's gonna get a gun, and the punk rocker's like, "Fine, man, I'll leave." And the dude sitting in the bar is like, "What's that all about, man?" He's like, "Oh, you couldn't see from the front, but he's got iron crosses and swastikas on his jacket, and he's got to nip those Nazis in the bud, because they'll come in and they'll be gentlemen and they'll be nice and they'll be kind, and you'll serve them because you're like, well, I don't want to make any waves. And then they'll bring in a buddy and he'll be nice and he'll be kind, and then they'll bring in some friends. Before long, you're a Nazi bar, and then they aren't nice anymore. So you got to nip that shit in the bud right when they come in. And I get it. You do. I've worked in bars. I've had those Nazi pieces of shit come in, and you have to go, "Get out." And they go, "Oh, I'm not hurting anyone." And you're like, "I don't care. I will hurt you if you don't leave." And that's the only way you can keep that little microcosm, that little societal microcosm, from turning rotten. One bad apple spoils the bunch, man. There's a reason for that. So yeah, it's you gotta nip it in the bud. You cannot, do an Operation Paperclip with those folks. You just can't. Preacher Sunday, Dark Water 2019 is a good movie about how the chemical companies are ruining our lives. Be prepared for more of these after Trump removes EPA. Oh yes. Matt, ha ha ha, Houston's going nuts. I am. 64, you're correct. Sit down, Stage Tatum. I used to be hippie, but not anymore. Shin plays, I'm ready for war. Well, there you go. Beach Sunday. I'd rather die from toxic water, toxic atmosphere, no medical insurance, no biodiversity than seeing my fellow humans become their happy selves, marry their loved ones, and have bodily autonomy. Sarcasm. Yes. Probably stupid. Also, I am reasonably certain Relinquish is another super stonk SS Minnow Johnson, a ghost account. And I think the SS in the name doesn't stand for steamship. I think you are probably right. Jonathan Destouche. What do you expect Palantir does Monday morning if it is introduced to the NASDAQ 100? A Palantir is going to fly. This is a Peter Thiel company. Peter Thiel's choice for vice president is in charge of this, now going to be president of the Senate. They're going to be raking it in on government contracts. And it's going to be all weird black op government contracts that we don't understand because they're a weird tech company who are going to create the infrastructure for the fascist dystopia that we're going to live in. So their stock is going to fly. They're going to do very, very, very well. Kim Gideon. I honestly think RFK is targeting the traffic issue with decertification of the polio vaccine. Targeting the traffic issue. Like if everyone gets polio, no one can drive, and traffic the roads become more open, easier to drive around in. Kira Savolanian. I'm an appreciative lurker. Thanks for continuing to do this, Houston. Well, thank you, Kira. Juice Mammy. Orange Boomer just posted for people to shoot at drones. Cool. We're going to have people shooting at passenger planes. That's going to end well. That's going to be just fantastic. Wouldn't it be great? We'll have some stupid moron in New Jersey taking a high-powered rifle to a Cessna flying overhead, vaporizing a family of 3 or something, or hitting the engine on a 737 as it goes overhead. Just galaxy brain stuff. We don't need to have NORAD or the Air Force or Air National Guard do anything. We can just have some rando with a 30-06 firing into the sky at the lights that are scaring them. We are seriously on the dumbest timeline ever. Like, We got rid of the lead in the gasoline. Is it the microplastics? Or is that what's making everyone so stupid now? What is going on, man? We're just Snertlert with a new spelled name. St. Louis, Houston. Sneethreer T. Loriort. Houston. Antonio Baez. Racism. Yes. 100% racism. Yes. N9. Funny, my company was doing no bonuses this year, and all of a sudden, last week announced we'll be getting something. Oh. Was your company originally one of those ones that are like, we have to spend all our money on products and resources before these tariffs go into effect? I wonder what's going on there. Aaron Saltine. I want to be on the jury. Oh, what murder? He's a chill guy. No guilty. I do not think Houston is not the right guy. Just saying. I do not think Houston is not the right guy. There's too many negatives in there. I can't figure that one out. I think jury nullification is a very, 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 very high possibility with any court case with Luigi. The judge probably gonna be like, you guys do not do jury nullification. And the jury's gonna be like, what's jury nullification? And he's gonna have to explain jury nullification for him. And they're gonna go, oh, that sounds like a great idea. I mean, jurors in New York let that asshole off who murdered that poor guy in the subway. And it was like a homeless guy who's like, blah, 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 and he put him in a chokehold and killed him. And we're like, that's some good vigilante justice. This person wasn't harming anyone, just making people feel very uncomfortable because he's going, blah, 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 because we have a shitty healthcare system that does not help anybody, right? That guy who's going, blah, 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 should be in an institution. He should be getting treatment. He should be in a hospital. But no, we don't do that. Instead, we got healthcare CEOs making sure that no one like that's ever insured and they can't ever get the help they need. So, best thing we can do is put them in a chokehold and murder them in front of everybody on the subway, and then we let them off. But you kill that CEO who's responsible for tens or hundreds of thousands of deaths, then you're a bad guy. You don't do that. We need to be more respectable. Mike C. I got no issue with what he did. He's going to suffer the consequences. But if Luigi looked more like Mario, we wouldn't be praising him as much. If he was a fat greaseball, it would be a typical day. Maybe. Maybe what you need when you have a revolution is you need a devilishly handsome man to be a part of it. I mean, you look at Stalin when Stalin was young. Stalin was fucking handsome. Che Guevara, handsome as shit, right? So you need charisma, you need looks, you need a conscience. Those seem to be some of the leadership qualities for folks who foment revolution, right? I guess uggos can't be the leadership. They're gonna have to fall in line behind the handsome, charismatic person. And if that's the way we affect change, then that's the way we're gonna affect change. I welcome our new handsome overlords. The Limon, so weird to switch from 2 times 2x Houston to regular Houston. My rants were like dick bag. Mike C. Palantir might dip more, but it's gonna rip again eventually. Wave 5 coming. I do think Palantir is under this administration is going to do very, very, very well. Tampa Bay Buckeye. Well, Tampa Bay Tropicana feels now nice. Now it's in shambles. Yeah, have they even announced where they're going to be playing? I know like Raleigh, North Carolina is desperate. They're like, come play here, which may means the Tampa Bay Rays are no longer in Tampa Bay because it's going to take what 5 years to build a new stadium there. It'll take at least a year to replace Tropicana Field's tarps that cover their roof. So I don't know if Tampa Bay will even have a baseball team anymore after this. It may end up becoming a North Carolina team or something. PB Brands, a shame Voyager Masters are on VHS. Are they? I didn't notice. I mean, I watched it streamed, I believe, on Netflix was when I binged all the Voyagers, and that was it's it looked like video, it looked like 1990s video, but it was stable and looked fairly cleaned up. So they must have remastered it or something. And Silent Team Deep Space Nine is really well written. I have not gotten to the point where I'm like, yes, Deep Space Nine. I'm gonna keep plugging because people say it's coming. I'll get there eventually. Vindicator says Jake posted on Reddit. Marcelo Giordano, Houston, happy birthday. Did you ever reschedule a software interview? Did I completely miss it? It ended up being a space call. So we space called. I was confused. I thought he was going to come on this thing, and then apparently I went on space call instead. Just buddies. Luigi cooking a pasta, then he cooking a CEO Mamma Mia. Where we got 14 minutes, monkey. Are you gonna come up here? You come up here and say hi. You come say hi to everyone. Yeah. There we are. Are you happy little dog? You little goober. Okay. M. Hobson, I have one for you. Partner is MD. Latest scam is to deny until peer review, even for Vicodin after surgery. Pre-authorization takes hours of back and forth. Only doctors have to do it. I saw a thing that under insurance laws in most states, you can challenge by asking for the active credentials of the person who denied the claim. And if their specialty is not in the field that the doctor is requesting, then by law, the claim must be approved. Or if the person's license is lapsed, or if they never got licensed, which a lot of people who end up working for health insurance companies as claims adjusters, they never became licensed physicians. They may have gone to medical school, but they either didn't get a residency or they never passed their board exams. And so they got a job working denying claims and never actually practiced medicine. That's another giant problem we have in this country, is that we don't have enough residencies for doctors to be accepted into so that they can meet the qualifications to become board certified and become a practicing physician. We have a lot of people going to school to become doctors and only so many that can be accepted residencies. And if you are someone who is in a residency and had an issue happen, like I dated a woman, she graduated with her medical degree. She was in her residency and she ended up getting really, really ill. She had some illness that took her out for like a year, and thought she was going to die. And she recovered. She got better, and she's like, "Hey, I need to continue my residency." Like, "Oh, it's too late now. Like, you can't continue your residency." She's like, "What do you mean? I was out sick, and now I'm better, and now I need to finish my last year of residency." They're like, "Too late, man. You're gonna have to reapply." But they don't take people who've been out of medical school for too long for residency, so you're not gonna get one. Like, it's fucked up. So we need a system in this country that allows for more people to do their residencies so they can become board certified and they won't be working at these health insurance companies as evil little minions doing what their corporate overlords want them to do. Instead, they can become doctors who do doctor stuff, because we need more doctors in this country and less bureaucrats. Video brand, it was so hard to jump through hoops to get my pain meds after my burns. I gave up and self-treated. I'm not playing those games. Yeah, people suffer, man. My mom was in oncology as a nurse at the VA, and people will complain about the VA, like, "Oh, VA sucks, wait times." But there's longer wait times at the regular hospitals. The Veterans Choice Act, which Obama passed in 2014, it allowed veterans who are waiting for care at the VA to go to a private clinic or hospital and get the same care, and then the VA would reimburse them. And 2 years in, they discovered that the veterans were waiting longer at the private hospitals than they were at the VA. The VA was actually faster than private healthcare. And to this day, it's still the same way. The VA is still, you wait a long time at the VA for things, but it's still faster than private healthcare. Anyway, so my mom worked in oncology. She was doing, radiation treatments, chemo, things like that for people. And there was particular chemos that you could only get at the Veterans Administration or if you were filthy rich, because it was the best chemo for particular cancers. And they wouldn't offer it at private hospitals because it was too expensive. Insurance wouldn't pay for it. But because the VA is just like, yeah, give them what they need, right? They would get the proper chemo for their cancers, and they had a higher survivability rate if they're getting chemo at the VA than they were at the private hospitals for certain very, very fast-moving cancers. And at the same time, chemo makes you extremely nauseous, right? Like basically, they're making your body so sick that the energy it takes to grow a tumor gets put towards use to keeping you surviving and not dying. So the tumor ends up getting starved because it's an afterthought for the rest of your systems, right? And so you get really ill and you can't eat and you're pukey and whatever. And so you need medication to give you an appetite and keep you stable. Well, a lot of these private hospitals can't give people the medication to make it so they can eat food and remain stable. Instead, they just have people have to suffer and be queasy and barfy and pukey and have all the problems. But the VA gives you that medication because it helps you. So they just get it automatically approved. This is the way universal healthcare works in other nations. So the doctor says, this patient needs this, and it just happens. Because that's what they need, right? That's it. That's done. And the VA has 1% of every dollar that goes to the VA goes to administration. About 50 cents of every dollar. Almost a 100% increase in private healthcare goes to the administrative state, insurance or hospital administration. 50 cents of every dollar. So we're just wasting money like crazy on our private health insurance to get shit for it, when we just have a system that just treats you. Oh, you broke your leg and need surgery? We're just going to surgically repair it. You chopped your fingers off? We will reattach all of them, not just one of them, because your insurance won't do the other three, right? Oh, you suspect you have cancer? We'll actually do a biopsy this time. And if it turns up weird, we will do further tests to figure out if it's actually cancer or not. Rather than be like, it's fine. And then you got tumors metastasized through your body. We really need to have a better system in this country. And I think we start with the healthcare industry. If we can vaporize private healthcare in this country, which would solve our homeless crisis and solve bankruptcy problems and make our population healthier and safer and live longer, we can do that. That is the first step towards vastly improving our society as a whole. We will save trillions upon trillions of dollars. That's trillions of dollars that would go into discretionary income for average workers, which would cause, a boom in the economy as people did things. They went out to eat. They went travel on vacation. They bought new cars. They fixed their old cars. They bought new homes. They renovated the homes they're in, right? It would be an absolute boon to the economy. And food security would go up, child poverty would go down. It's very, very, very simple. Between 1/5 and 1/6 of our entire economy is healthcare. It should not be. We should be able to diversify our economy away from healthcare. We can be better. We can do better. Mike C. went in for a circumcision and got castrated, if you can believe that. Yikes. Black and Decker Pecker slice and dice circumcises. Did you say that in a high voice there, Mike? Okay. Kira says, try to say your last name again. Savo Lanen. I read that if Ontario cuts off our hydro to the States, Trump will be more encouraged to allow more coal power production, which would be terrible for us in Ontario and everyone else for the air and water we share. Yeah. What we should have a global energy grid. Buckminster Fuller in the 1940s was proposing a global energy grid. And he was like, we need to have, high power cables going across the Bering Sea, connecting Eurasia with the Western Hemisphere. And so that, when peak energy times are happening in the US, we can have power supplementation from India and China when it's nighttime over there, right? And so we can stabilize the power grid across the entire planet. He was thinking about this in the 1940s. Yeah, we should come together as a planet and figure out a way to make this much more efficient. Beauty Brand, I can't imagine a timeline where I do not have clothes, been wearing the same pile of laundry for 12 years. Snort alert, leopards will not stop eating face after 4 years. No, once the system is in place for leopards to eat faces, they will eat faces forever. Bill Coyne, Houston, we talk, you talk, but that's all we do, and then we complain and say nothing ever changes. We are the enemy, expecting someone else to do the heavy lifting. This is true. This is why people are like, oh, maybe Luigi Magon had the right idea, and there we are. Mike C says, if they cut VA benefits, I'm horse fucked. Glad I did those 2 deployments. Yep. The crazy thing is that we have folks like Pete Hegseth who want to see VA benefits get nuked, and the dude's a vet himself, right? I mean, it's because if he gets VA benefits nuked, then he'll never have to go to get sober, go to a treatment clinic. Aaron Salentine, Democratic Party represents corporate America, and the Republican Party represents the oligarchy in America. 2 different sides of the rich establishment. Houston is what it is. This is why I am a Green Party member today. Wake up, America. Make your third party to register into a third party already exists. You can, but the third parties will not get anywhere unless they actually actively campaign and work for office at the low levels. It's just not going to happen. Because of the way our Constitution is written, basically forces a 2-party system. Because again, we live in a first past the post society, meaning you can have 10 candidates, and whoever gets the most votes, even if it's not 50%, still wins the election. So all the energy and effort goes into the 2 most likely ones to get the plurality of the vote, because they'll win. You can have 30 candidates run for president in a particular state, right? And someone who gets 15% gets the majority of the vote, and they can win all electoral votes for that entire state, even though 85% of the state voted against that candidate. That's the way the system works. And it is, it's rough. It's rough. BF8 Super Chats. In the Pale Moonlight is my favorite Deep Space Nine episode, and now that I think about it, it's incredibly relevant to recent events, health insurance related. Okay, what season is that? I'll have to get to that one. The Pale Moonlight. Keep my eye out for that one. Tampa Buckeye. It's called Airport Landing Navigation Lights, dipshits. Most reports are allegedly in Passaic, which is just like the Springfield on Simpsons, right next to the nuclear facility. Nice. M. Hobson, Houston. Difference between Libre 3 and traditional blood prick is like 40%. Have little confidence in Libre, need no labs. Okay. Aaron Salentine says it's French Revolution style or peacefully. Yeah, pick one or the other there. Not Terry. His comment got deleted because this is obviously somebody who is definitely mentally challenged. Not have an election again, like inviting 10 million illegals into swing states and making it legal for them to vote. Shut the fuck up, you moron. Jesus Christ. No, illegals are not voting in elections. They have never been voting in elections. They don't vote. Why? Because illegals try their best not to break the law, because illegals do not want to get deported. They're not going to be like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go try to vote in this election and put a giant spotlight on myself so that INS knows to haul my ass back to whatever country I just fled. They're not voting. Jesus Christ. It's just the stupidest, piss poor, non-existent logic. And it's driving me up the wall. Why do people have to be so dumb all the time? Read books, man. Go to the library. Ask the librarian, what should I read? And then just read what she tells you to read. It's a great first step. Just go do that. Something will happen in your brain will go click, and you'll be like, oh my God, the last 40 years of my life have been so stupid. Stop being stupid. Stop being so dumb. Just stop. I wish there was a button I could push. There isn't. Just Mammy, who's going to miss TikTok? Probably all the Generation Z people. Talked by Buckeye Houston. Am I not the best Instagram shiny shirt comment champion? I don't remember. I'll have to go back to the comments, see which one you did. There were a couple of good ones in there. So this is 54 says TikTok ban is a consolidation of social media, so only a few control the narrative. TikTok is poison, but a foreign poison. They'd rather be the ones manipulating. This is also true. They will gladly be the ones that, like, they're worried that TikTok is selling information to the Chinese, right? And the Chinese are using it as an algorithm to manipulate the brains of Americans, which they probably are. There seems to be evidence that that's what's been happening. That, you mentioned Tiananmen Square and stuff like that. It gets absolutely nuked from their algorithm. But it's no different than what Elon's doing. Elon's doing exactly the same thing with Twitter. He's promoting a whole bunch of far right white supremacists on the platform and deplatforming folks who are on the opposite side of that. And he's nuking accounts like Jake2B, right? So it's the way it is. BFH season 6 episode 19, 2 words, trolley problem. Okay, noted. It's 4:30. I'm gonna get running here. As usual, if crazy news happens on the weekend, I'll try to go live if I can. Tomorrow is my niece's Nutcracker ballet performance, so I will be at that like all day and night. So maybe Sunday, we'll see. All right. You guys have a great weekend. Center your chi after my rants, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Right? Okay. Let's do this one. Oh no, can't do that one. I get in trouble for that one. Dang it, that's the wrong one. I want to do this one. There. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I should just delete that one from here so that I don't do it anymore. We had a problem. All right. Bye-bye.